Hey y'all, this is the legendary Sonny G, Sonny with an O, not a U.
And this is your boy Sterling Moody.
And we are Effa Podcast.
Effa Podcast.
And thank you for listening to us. So make sure you tune in to Effa Podcast, a real N-word podcast where we talk about
real N-word stuff.
That's it. So make sure y'all tune in.
Effa Podcast.
Effa Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all again for tuning in to Effa Podcast. And once again, this is a show that is dedicated to conning while black, as I call it. And so I have a couple of guests with me today. To my right is the fabulous, great, none other than Mr. Bar Fox himself. You've probably seen him cosplaying some of your favorite superheroes in what is possibly the tightest of spandex he can find. Like, I know, I admire it because I'm like, you know what, the comic book accuracy, this is a Jim Lee. He looks just like a Jim Lee drawing, so I can't even be mad. Like, it's the accuracy is just so dead on. And also, I'm sorry, one more time.
For the people.
For the people.
I'm Loli Horror.
Loli Horror?
Lolihara.
Okay. See, I thought it was Horror. I was about to be like, hold on, that's the wrong show. That's the October show. You got to come back for the October. Okay. Yeah. So Loli Horror. And
like Lolita and Harajuku.
Oh, okay. I get that. I was an old school Nicki Minaj fan. That's how I know Harajuku.
Unfortunately, that's how people know me. That was my first cosplaying while black issue.
Tell us about that. That was what was the first?
So I am a black girl who likes Kawaii culture.
Right.
Who made the mistake of debuting her Kawaii cosplay at Dragon Con the same year Nicki Minaj came out.
Nicki came to Dragon Con? Oh, sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
When she came out, you know.
Oh, just when she blew up. Gotcha.
Yes. And so every single white person who would see me in a line was like, oh, is she Nicki Minaj? I'm like, Lord Jesus, no. Like, is it impossible for you to process a black girl who likes Kawaii culture?
At that time, it was. This is like what, 2008, 2009?
Yes.
How long ago? Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I'm surprised people didn't just call you Black Sailor Moon.
Yeah. Well, see, my friend who lives in D.C. and she is a tattoo artist. She was a black girl doing cosplay, and she actually was trying to create a cosplay group to bring awareness to the diversity which is in Kawaii culture. She all the way up in D.C. I was like, surely this is Atlanta, this is black. I'm going to see other black girls cosplaying Kawaii. I did not. So it just made it that much more awkward, but especially because I had a two-tone wig that I had made, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be obvious that this is Kawaii. Nicki Minaj was wearing two-tone wigs too, unbeknownst to me. Just made it that much harder.
Don't you hate when that happens? I just read a recent story. So apparently there was a guy who came out around the same time that Michael Jackson started his solo career. I'm trying to remember his name right now. I want to say it's like Walter or something, but basically Michael Jackson stole like a whole lot of his swag, and it's one of those stories where you're like, no, not possible. And you go on YouTube and you listen to a song, you're like, no, that sounds awfully close to Lady in My Life. Hold on 1 second. Like,
oh, no.
Like, I think Mike might have actually stole this. So, but I think it's just one of those two coincidences at the same time, but nobody's going to see it like that. They're always going to see this person first, and then, then this person, they're like, oh, you copied. No, that was actually me first, but.
I mean, because the funny thing is, I had a friend, she did an alter ego party. Mm-hmm. And so that's literally hella months before Dragon Con. And that's when I first did it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I literally started like going out in public. Like I would go to, doesn't exist anymore, but there used to be this little bar off of Peachtree Street, and they would have, that's when I first became a fan of Salah Anansi. That is a plug. But he used to DJ at this little club or whatever you want to call it, restaurant, bistro, we'll call social, and I would literally show up as Kawaii.
Dope.
Wow. Nice.
So when Dragon Con came, I was like, oh, that's an easy, quick, last minute decision to go costume. Something I was already doing.
Right. It's dope that you even, because that's, Kawaii, if anybody, doesn't know what that is. This is Japanese culture. This is a Japanese culture thing. And I spent 3 years in Okinawa, Japan, so I was like flooded with Kawaii this and Kawaii that. It's like, it's too cute. Yes. So, but my daughter's favorite movie is My Neighbor Totoro, so. Yes. And then Mr. Bar Fox.
Yes.
So what got you, I'm very interested, what got you into cosplaying?
Wow, that's a good question. First of all, that introduction you gave was fire, so I want to make sure I let you know. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I try.
I work hard to squeeze in the spandex that I wear, so.
Hey, and like I said, I was like, man, this dude looks just like the picture. Like, you don't get to say that often.
Thank you. Yeah, I work with a great team of people. When I say the photographers and the designers, and I have a wig lady. Shout out to Lil Mina. At Mina's Fashion, and then I have Dean's List that be working on my costumes, and it's just an amazing collaboration to help me get the look that I want to get. So, shout out to all of them. But how did I get into cosplay? I was always into dressing up Halloween. My parents are awesome. I was that child that got to pick whatever he wanted to wear at least 2 times a week and just do it my way. And basically, Halloween wasn't enough for me. And one year I was modeling for another convention here, and my friend Lisa Barger, shout out to Lisa, she was like, why are you not downtown? Everybody's in costumes. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, this is where you should be. So I left the one convention and headed down to Dragon Con. And it was just utopia. I couldn't believe I had found so many people who were like-minded, and I was just in awe with the creativity. And ever since then, I think that was 2006. I've been there every year since then, and I formally went from putting on a costume that I did every year to cosplaying. A few years after that.
And so the transition from that, like, what was the spark that went from, let me just go pick up a Green Lantern costume from Walmart to, hey, you know what? Let me make a realistic.
The spark for me is when I did go to Dragon Con, I only saw what they considered popular characters at the time, and there were not enough African American characters represented, and I wanted to be that. So I was like, what can I do to incorporate that into this fun environment? And I was like, it's not sold because it's not popular enough to be sold, so I'm going to have to make it. I'm going to have to create the look, create the vibe. And that's what I did. And actually, I love doing obscure characters. That's just my thing. Shaman, vibe, and people don't like them usually. I do have to be connected to the character, but I'm not the one that just follow the trend.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of do my own thing, and that's why I came up with my Cosplay Your Way company, do it your way, be on the edge, color outside the box. So that's what happened. And
that is dope. I like obscure. My favorite thing is finding out who an obscure character is, because I'll look and I'll be like, who is? I don't know who that is. And then somebody will come along and be like, are you crazy? That's such and such. And I'm like, well, now I've got to look that up. I don't know anything about it. And that's dope to me.
Exactly. It's like a way to break the ice. It gives me different characters to look up. It gives me the opportunity to explore something else, because I don't want to see the same people. I want to leave every con asking myself or asking someone who is that, and researching to find out more about this character so I could see him or her in comics or in cartoons. I love to learn more stuff about people.
I feel that. So what's been your most challenging cosplay thus far?
Wow, challenging. What was the most challenging? My Killmonger, because I did the Killmonger from the comics, and loved it. It was challenging for me in a lot of ways, but it came out. But it's just moving around with. I had spikes sticking out of my shoulders, and of course, walking through the crowds, people were bumping into them, knocking them. I mean, hitting it hard. And so it was just challenging in the way of mobility,
right,
for me. And I was like, dang, what can I do? So, of course, I had everybody reinforce everything because it's just impossible to get through
Right.
that. Now, where I made my biggest mistake is I put on Gambit one year, and a guy hit my shield, and it dented it in because I did a lightweight one. So the next year, I actually bought real armor.
Oh wow.
Because I was like, if somebody hit it, they gonna hurt their hand. But I didn't realize that I wasn't gonna be able to carry
That much
that
weight
much
on you.
weight for that long. So it dug into my shoulders, and I was worn out. So now, after working with Fiona Leonard, I have a nice one that bounces back if somebody pushes it or hits it, but at the same time it's lightweight and it's okay for my mobility. Because we do a lot of panels on functionality and cosplay, and you need to be functional out there for 8-9 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm learning a lot because I just thought, you know, you just throw some foam together and the
Last year, I spent so much effort meticulously creating the teeth for my Killmonger necklace. And in the time it took me to walk down the street to get on the float, somebody had knocked 2 of them off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And I was like, bruh, do you realize how many hours this took?
Do you know what I went through?
Yes.
Talk about team no sleep.
So what after the whole Harajuku thing? Not the Harajuku thing, but I'm talking about like, so that was your introduction into being, you know, part of the cosplay world. Where did you go from there? Like,
Actually, see, now I can't remember which happened first. I think. Okay, let's just assume Dragon Con happened first because that's just easier story to tell. Okay, well then someone, when I was more present on Twitter, someone actually asked me to be in their music video. I don't know if anyone out there in the community knows a rapper named Jowin, Jowin. He made a song called Cosplay Girl, and he made a music video, and he asked me to be in it. So I was in that. And that's...
If they didn't before, he's now got 3 more views now. So.
He said 3.
Well, I thought it was a great video because it almost mimicked my feelings at Dragon Con, which was ironic because Dragon Con is supposed to be an accepting community, which was a cosplay girl who is trying to be confident in her cosplay and confident in this part of her personality, but is like getting the outside world to accept her is difficult. And like, so in his video, he's got people looking at me and looking at me weird and all this type of stuff. But I guess like the moral or the ending of his song is that she does eventually get her self-confidence. And then when she feels self-confident, then the reaction from people changes.
So in a way, you were cosplaying being a cosplayer in that video.
I actually was kind of low-key being myself.
See, that's the best cosplay of
There
all.
you go, meta.
Funny.
When you can cosplay yourself, you've mastered it.
Yeah. I was while you guys were talking, I was thinking about prior to meeting any discrimination in cosplay, I was blessed to have Marvel and DC recognize me, put me on their website, do an article on me, and one of them was so funny. I did Jericho from Titans, but I did a big white afro to bring some black flavor to the character, and I didn't know that it would be well received, and it was amazing that year I met George Perez.
Dope.
And he was like, I love it. And we took photos, and then I ended up in some articles. So I was like, wow, this is cool. This is my group. Everybody's accepting. A few years later, I started seeing some discriminatory things. And again, that's why I decided to be one of the people to fight against that, because everybody deserves a safe space and to be able to cosplay. Nobody owns the right.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that it's super dope that the stories I'm hearing from both of y'all are like pioneer stories, you know, of being like the first openly out there, you know, with I'm not gonna worry about what other people think, or I'm not gonna worry about what's acceptable or whatever. Like this is me doing what I'm doing, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, that's cosplay. And you're like, oh, that's what that is? This is just my Tuesday.
Right.
Because it was, I think, I'm trying to remember when that video was shot. It was either shot during, I'm going to just say Momo Khan. So again, that was an experience where I was like, surely I'm going to go here and there's going to be other black girls doing Kawaii. Because this one is more focused on anime and Japanese culture than Dragon Con. And I still
Was the only
didn't
black
see
chick.
any.
But that's wonderful because if you took pictures and stuff, you are probably the one that comes up when I Google search.
But see, the thing is, if everyone's thinking I'm Nicki Minaj, they wouldn't be as, I guess,
Oh,
it's like processing what is the significance of all these details of this costume. If you recognize that this is me being very meticulously kawaii, you're going to give me props. But if you think I'm trying to be Nicki Minaj, especially if you don't like her, probably not gonna.
I think that'll come later. That's the thing about history. History usually looks back on stuff and goes, wait a minute, that's not what I thought it was, and corrects itself sometimes. Somebody's going to look back on old photos of Momo Khan and be like, oh, there was a black girl doing kawaii culture. Like, it's Nicki Minaj is going to be so far of a thing that's going to be the first thing they think about is the kawaii culture instead of Nicki Minaj. And so we have, real quick, on the phone, Marcus, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Marcus, thank you for calling in. Marcus Vaughn, correct? Van.
It's Van, but
Van.
I'm used to it.
I feel like Vaughn should just go there. Like it's just that. I feel like that should be like your actor name. Like, yes, I'm Marcus Vaughn.
What's up, Marcus? What's going on, Marcus?
Not much.
And so that's
just getting ready for work.
Well, and so I'm glad you called in. And so the first time I saw you were. It's crazy. I have to retrain myself because I from the Jabari tribe. What's his actual name? I keep wanting to say the non-politically correct one.
What, the M'Baku?
No, M'Baku's the politically correct way.
Oh,
to
you
say.
want to say the ape one.
Man ape. And I never had a problem with man ape, but when it came out, and I was like, oh, that's man ape. Everybody was like, no, he's called M'Baku. I'm like, no, that's man ape. But so when I first seen that, and you went to incredible lengths for the movie's accuracy's sake, to the point where people did not know that you're not Winston Duke.
Exactly.
I still get it. It's
like you're probably at work right now with people like, we work with Winston Duke, and it's like, no, this is Marcus. It's still Marcus. But what? So did you notice that you have a similar look and then go from there, or did you? How did that come? How did that come together?
Here's the funny thing about it. I see a little bit myself. I see a little bit of resemblance. I actually had to be coached into doing this cosplay. I like the character, but I didn't see it. But everybody, I think it was a post. My homie, he's like family. He put it in the Facebook group, and he did a side-by-side picture. And I really don't see it, but apparently everybody else saw it. It got a lot of shares, a lot of reactions. So I just like,
you don't see.
Well,
it.
I guess.
Yeah, Marcus, I think I see it.
I think so. Everybody but you sees it is what I'm hearing.
And then you did Us, which is the same actor.
God, yes.
Exactly. It was a double take both times. I promise. When that.
Are you sure you're not Winston Duke? That's basically what I'm getting at here. Are you?
When he walked by with the bat,
I would love his money. I would love his money, honestly.
Okay, so that's dope. So was that your most elaborate cosplay thus far? Like, so far, what have you, besides Us and M'Baku, what else have you really sunk your teeth into cosplay wise?
Well, like last year I did a character from Ruby called Yang Xiaolong. She's actually a white. The character is a white female, and I actually did a gender bent of that. I did that last year, and year before that I did a character called Shoma from Guy Eater, and I did Fallout cosplay. So I think this is like my sixth cosplay. I did.
Dope.
Sixth character I did.
What was the thought process when you first got into cosplay? Because I know like there's usually, when black people talk about cosplay, like it's usually the genesis of I'm trying to think of the type of movie. It's like Rocky. almost. It's like somebody says you can't do it, and then you go, you know what? I'm gonna prove them wrong. I am going to become Pac-Man this September for Dragon Con. But like, what was your initial introduction into deciding you wanted to cosplay?
Well, it's funny. I grew up in a small town, and everything was like basically called costumes. Like everything associated with wearing costumes, was like Halloween. So I actually was interested, just trying to be like a standout person just during the Halloween parties and stuff, like during the college days. I said, I want to do Goku for Halloween. I was thinking about doing characters for Halloween. Then I got introduced to Momo Khan, and it was just like a whole plethora of people into cosplay. I just like, oh no, I can't. Knowing me, I just can't come up here in regular clothes anymore. So after that, that's when I just basically got into it. I just like the feeling of, to me, I grew up I was a big fan of Power Rangers growing up. And to me, when I put on the cosplay, I feel like I just morphed into like a superhero. I feel a whole lot better, I feel empowered when I cosplay.
It does feel like that. I completely understand. As a matter of fact, my workout clothes are all superhero themed. Like when I have to do cardio, I purposely put on my Miles Morales tights because that's the only way I feel like I can run 3 miles that morning. So I completely understand that.
Wow.
And like Bar Fox was saying earlier, like Halloween's just not enough. I would have loved to have been that kid. See, I just didn't have the nerve. I admire that you had the nerve that if they said, hey, it was casual Friday, you were coming in costume, like, well, this is casual as I get.
That's right.
I wish I was that kid because I was constantly, they're like, you can't wear Batman, you can't wear your Batman outfit to school. And I'm like, why not?
Well, I had a cheat. I grew up in an entertainment type environment. So it was all about showing uniqueness and individuality. I had my own TV show in high school, and I'm in entertainment now. So it's been my life. I was a choreographer. I danced for actual music groups, the popular ones at the time. I was on air every week. So it was kind of okay for me to walk a different path because I was encouraged to be different and to show creativity all the time.
So like I said, so for me, that would have been, he's acting out, and for you, it was just Tuesday.
Yes, it was just like, give me more, give me more. We love how you jumped off that building. Can we see it again type stuff. And we love that pink this and that purple this and your hair this, colored another color. So I got away with stuff.
That is dope. Well, Marcus, I appreciate you for calling in, brother. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem.
And if anybody wants to follow you on social media, what's your information?
It would be on Instagram. It's Paladin Van. It's PALADIN_Van with VANN. And on Twitter it's the same. It's just without the underscore. It's Paladin Van without the underscore.
All right.
Well, for Twitter.
Well, thank you very much, brother, and you have a great rest of your evening.
All right, see you later,
I
Marcus.
appreciate it.
I'm gonna hit you up too. I got something I want you to do.
All right.
Okay.
All right. And I'm learning a lot about the different thought processes between cosplay. This is dope. Because again, as a kid, like, to me, the cheap Family Dollar costumes, the ones that when you went trick-or-treating in them, they tore up by the third house, that was as far as the idea of a costume went with me. You know what I'm saying? I would have never in my wildest dreams have thought to make a realistic armor type anything, or to make the actual teeth that go on the necklace. Like, to me, it would have just been like, get some aluminum foil and crumple it up until it kind of has like that jagged, and then just throw it on a necklace or something. Then here you go. Somebody was like, no, what I need is I need an actual crucible so I can melt the metal down so I can actually shape it and things of that nature. And you're like, wow, where do you find the so where okay, that's where I guess I got, where do you find the time?
Where do you find the time? Oh my God, let me get on my soapbox. Okay. I have a 40-hour work week, right? And but in reality, I work more than 40 hours. And then on top of that, I already have like extracurricular activities that I do. I am a roller skater, and then I also kickbox. And then I tend to make these last-minute decisions that I'm going to go to Dragon Con. So yeah, from the time I get home,
Mhm.
which may be 9, maybe 12, up until I have to be to work at 9 a.m., that's the time. So usually it is literally team no sleep for me.
I was gonna say, so what you're basically saying is the moments in between blinking. And the moments in between
Yeah.
blinking is when you find to actually.
Since I'm creative in a lot of different ways, I get into this zone where it's like I don't need to eat, I don't need to sleep, I don't need to do anything until I'm done. And then in the moment that my brain says you're done, I almost immediately fall asleep.
Crash. You crash.
Yes,
Me
I
too.
really do. Like I remember I was sewing one time and I did that last stitch and it was almost like I fell.
Went to a coma after that.
Bruh.
Yeah, it's a lot of time management. Your time management skills need to be at its highest possible skill set. And sleep deprivation, unfortunately, but I'm trying to take the sleep deprivation out of the equation because with sleep deprivation, when you're working on some stuff, you make some mistakes that you wouldn't have made if you were rested, which causes it to be a little longer than you needed it to be if you had gotten your sleep. But it is really, really about time management because everybody's working or most of us are working jobs. Like you said, we have other things going on. We have other responsibilities and other people that need us in their life that we're trying to be there for.
Yep.
So to do this is definitely a passionate project for us. So we make the time for it because it has to be put in the middle of all the other things we do for our life.
Absolutely. And so on the line, we've got for a short minute. Lee, are you here with us? Lee? Lee is not. All right.
Oh, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I had you on mute. My bad.
Oh,
I'm
that
here. Hey,
see,
everybody.
I know that story.
Right.
I recognize that voice.
Lee Willis, thank you for joining the show. And we are the whole thing is we are talking about cosplay dripping. What interesting stories about cosplay do you have?
Ooh. Wow. Define interesting.
So right now, just what story jumps off the top of your head as far as being a cosplay enthusiast? Like either seeing something or something you've done yourself.
Well, I'm a cosplay photographer, not so much a cosplayer. So the one thing that I would say that's been really interesting and been really rewarding is seeing how many people of color are breaking into doing cosplay. That's been something that's been really, near and dear to my heart. Because when I first started doing, cosplay and con photography, there were only like a handful of people who were really doing it. And that's really changed. I mean, with BET coming to Dragon Con and, doing things there, highlighting black cosplayers and things like that, I think that that's been a wonderful thing. I think one of my favorite stories, is always seeing the kids break into it. Like just seeing how the kids are maybe at first they're a little bit timid or shy, being in costume and being around a whole bunch of people, but seeing them kind of grow into their own. And I love that because they're not just the cosplayers of tomorrow, they are actually the cosplayers of today.
Absolutely.
I want to add, because Lee is amazing and he's too humble.
I was gonna say
He's too humble. What Lee did is he came to the con and he saw that something was missing. African American or people of color were not being photographed.
Exactly.
They were not getting their pictures up. Nobody was stopping them. And he said, as a photographer, as a person that loves this art, I'm going to photograph every POC person I can find. And I'm going to give them quality photos that they can use. And that's what he came in and he started doing. And that's amazing.
It is. I've seen the photos. I'm like, wow. Like even before, like he said, before BET even came along, he was
the movement.
Yeah, he was that.
He was one of
let
the
me see
movements.
what photos he took
Mhm.
so I can see what the costumes I missed. Who did something that I didn't get to see.
And people were not doing that. So to be a man of that type of integrity, to see that something was missing, to pull out your camera, to get everybody's picture that you can is just a phenomenal thing.
Lee, I know you want to say something, but
thanks, Jabbar.
You're welcome.
We're coming to the end of one show, but I want you to stick around because I'm gonna bring you back on the next show. So just give me like 3 minutes. I'm gonna close.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna close this one out real quick, and I want to thank my guests. I want to thank Bar Fox, and I want to thank Lowly Horror for coming and talking about being pioneers of the cosplay, OGs in this cosplay game. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
You better take these credits, the OGs of the cosplay game.
I accept that. I'm trying to forge a way, keep it going, and motivate people. So it's
Sonny, you are in the presence of the legend of the Royal Bar Fox.
I know you should have been here earlier. I was surprised people accepted the invitation. I was like, hold on now, don't just be saying yes to me like that. I didn't expect this. So I appreciate everybody who is coming, and Bar Fox especially, and Lowly Horror especially. And this has been Effa Podcast. Y'all be cool like how y'all be cool. Have a great evening. This is the legendary Sonny G, and thank you for tuning in to Effa Podcast. You can also go ahead and follow us at Trap Nerd ENT on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can also go to our Patreon if you enjoy what we do and make a donation, patreon.com/TrapNerdENT, and be on the lookout for future events. Sign up for our email list at trapnerdent@gmail.com. Again, thank you for listening. Y'all be cool like how y'all be cool.